All right. Welcome back. Another episode of the Unsecurity podcast. I'm Brad Nye. Somebody actually gave Megan the day off. I don't know who approved that or how that happened, but it is just me today. But I've got plenty of capable people with me. I've got uh, the Mats and Pinky. So I guess you guys want to kind of give a quick introduction. I'll start with let's go with Pinky because he's in the top left corner of my screen, or not. We may have lost him. All right, Dowd, you're next.
I'm Matthew Dowd. I'm the co-manager of our offensive services team at FRSecure. Oversee pen testing, vuln scanning, all that fun stuff.
Okay, and Findlay.
Yep, I am the other co-manager of the offensive services team. So, doing very much the same stuff as Mr. Dowd. My focus is more web app, mobile app, physical SE type stuff, though.
Yeah, I think somebody was messing with us when they made both the Matt's managers, so they could go speak to Matt if you have a problem, and nobody knows which one to talk to. So you guys just got back from DEF CON last week. So that's what we wanted to talk about, kind of what was your experience and all that. But before we get going, we like to talk about, what we're working on, what are we doing for fun outside of work, because, we do like to have that work-life balance. I was showing you guys my Millennium Falcon model right before, so that's been the big thing. And then I've been playing some video games and some old school stuff. But, nothing too exciting. Let's go with Dowd again, because you're on the left.
Sure. So yeah, I like video games when I've got time. I don't know if you can see it or not, but a little corner of my synthesizer here kind of gets into frame from time to time. But I do enjoy, making music. I play guitar. I pretend like I can play the piano, but that's kind of why I have a synthesizer here, because I'm more into making sounds than doing chords and scales and all that kind of stuff on the piano. Just
Nice.
So yeah.
Fun. What about you? What about you, Matt?
Yeah. Well, lately, now that it's kind of starting to get a little cooler, I fired up the forge. I've got a forge in my backyard, so I do some metalworking, blacksmithing. So that helps keep my hands busy. I like to keep my hands busy for hobbies. Another thing I'm working on is I'm learning how to work with microcontrollers and build like small little IoT devices.
Nice.
So that's been new. And going to DEF CON and competing, it's definitely got me into the capture the flag mentality. So I'm starting to make a lot more capture the flag challenges.
Nice. I gotta get back. I don't think I've done on yours in a couple of years now. I've probably dropped out of the top 10 at this point.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look. There's definitely some new challenges that they're very new, so I'm sure you haven't seen them yet, but
Yeah, no.
They should be fun.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. And like you said, in all of our spare time that we have.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk DEF CON. I guess, what is that experience for you guys? What talks did you like? What capture the flags did you compete in? This is your forum to tell people what it's like to be at DEF CON.
Well, Mr. Findlay, would you? I can go first, I suppose. So I think this was my 8th year going out to DEF CON in a row. So my experience is a little more hermit than the average person. We get a big house for the team when we go out. So comfy, cozy, just right away from the strip. Gives us plenty of room to collaborate and work on CTFs and all that kind of stuff. A lot of the villages are pretty interesting. They change a little bit year to year, but after seeing them so many years in a row, there's not much to see other than the social engineering village, which was a 2.5 hour line that I really didn't feel like standing in and getting COVID. But yeah, so yeah, my DEF CON experience is showing up for LineCon, getting my badge, getting some swag, hanging out and seeing who's there. We ran into quite a few people that we hadn't seen in a while.
Nice.
Yeah, and then heading back and grubbing down with the team. We've been doing a Hot Ones challenge for the last few years here on the first night, which might not be the smartest thing to do, but we have fun. And then the next day get all geared up and start registering in CTFs, and pretty much CTF the whole time I'm there. I do go down to the convention just for the FOMO. There's one morning I woke up and literally everyone had gone to the conference, and one of the other guys came out of his room and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "I don't know. I think I am going to the conference." He's like, "Okay, cool, let's go." And so, yeah, we all went down to the conference. It was a whole lot of fun. Seeing everybody. There's a lot of personalities, a lot of good people watching, and a lot of cool stuff to see.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get back to it, but yeah, Matt, again, I'm sorry, this is going to happen. That's this thing now.
I'll just remember that I went already.
Yeah. Hey, there's Pinky.
Yay!
Hey.
So we're just Matt was just, so this is the thing now, Pig, is that it's the Matts. I'm just saying Matt, and they have to figure out who I'm actually talking to.
I like it. That's fun.
So, Finlay, what was your DEF CON experience? Similar?
Similar. We were all staying in the same house and all
Right.
that, so that was nice. It's nice to get the entire team in one spot because we're spread out all over the U.S. So it's nice to have that kind of summer camp where we all get together and hang out. But I definitely did a lot of the LineCon, and I did stay on the conference floor this year for most of it because I was really heavily competing in the BIC CTF in the BIC village. So I was there most of the con, but I did get out and check out some of the other villages. I really enjoy the crypto and privacy village because I'm a big crypto nerd. Love cryptography and ciphers and breaking them and making them. So it's always a great time to go check out that village. I like physical security too. So the physical security village. And this year they brought in an entire car door to show people how to shim the lock open.
Oh, wow.
So the big line of people learning how to shim car doors open. So that was fun to see on the conference floor.
That's funny.
And Maritime Village this year had a bunch of subs and automated machines to like traverse and like, what's the word I'm looking for? Smuggle, like contraband and things. So learning how.
There was one, was it Adversary? But where it was like a town, and they had a model of it, and it was supposed to like light up as the attack went or as things got solved.
Yeah, ICS Village had that. Yep. So teaching you how to infiltrate infrastructure and what happens when you get into the infrastructure and switching on lights and power grids, and that was really cool.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed you guys do the red teaming, but I'm a blue teamer. Right, that's just where I came up from, and Pinky too. But there weren't very many blue teams that we could do remotely this year. It was really kind of disappointing.
Yeah, not a ton out there. There was In the BIC CTF, there was a very blue team focused
Okay.
challenge group where there's a blob on, I think it was a blob on AWS that you had to go through and hunt information down, figure out, past metrics, what was hidden, what was transferred, things like that. So that was very blue focused.
Yeah, we ended up doing one on the cloud.
Yeah, the Cloud Village.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, as a blue teamer, it was super frustrating because we knew what we were able to find all the things, but then we're like, how do we exploit this? Like, I don't know what to do now because that's not what we do. So we were able to find all this stuff, and then we got stuck at that last step of actually, what was the
there was a token theft one.
Yeah.
We were stealing an M365 token, and we did steal it. So we got that far. We just couldn't figure out how to use it after we stole it. And so, that was it. Was an interesting one because there was a whole section on forensics, and so we were like, oh, okay, cool. This will work. Like, sure, there's probably some red mixed in here. We could probably get by if we need to, but there was a section on forensics, so we started down that path. And I know that was one of them, was stealing that token and then using it, and then there was another one that Kyle got in on, and you had to fix up a buffer overflow and overflow a little app, and he did it. So good job, Kyle. But I was just like, this is not forensics in the sense of what I think of forensics.
No. There was one I was working on where you had to decrypt a bunch of stuff and go through it, and then you downloaded a HCL, or I don't know, it was a Packer Terraform that you had to exploit. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I found all the stuff. I was able to get to the encoded URL to download what I needed to. I just don't know what to do with it now. So we were laughing. We're like, we just need a red teamer. They would laugh at us at how quickly they're like, no, you do this.
Yeah. It was still fun though. It was, it was fun until it got super frustrating, right? But it was a good time learning some things, playing with some things. It's kind of fun to see. Because we see the M365 token theft attacks all the time now, so it's kind of fun to be on the other side of it and play with that a little bit. So, I'm not super mad at it, but yeah,
it's a good CTF. That's just
it was
we do.
Yeah, exactly. I will say it is what it is, right? But like you were saying, there were, as far as I could find, there were no blue team CTFs that were remote this year. You had to be on site for all of them.
Yeah, even Biohacking Village was on site this year, which kind of was a bummer.
Yeah, and so that's new, and for our team, we only had 2 people go out to Vegas, just for various reasons. We had a lot of people that didn't travel this year, and so kind of knocked us out on the CTF side of things. But it was it was fun with what we could do.
So, I guess Dowd or Findlay, either one of you, either Matt, was there a talk or a village or something that really you took a lot away from? I know you said you were doing the BIC one most of the time, but was there anything that really stood out to you this year in terms of themes or talks?
So, in terms of, it was access everywhere was the theme for DEF CON this year. And wasn't so much a talk. I did look at one talk, and I liked one talk about how to fake a badge, very physical security oriented, how to develop a good strategy to fake badges and get into locations. So stuff we handle and deal with a lot. So that was very interesting to get somebody else's take on that. But honestly, the most interesting piece for me was the badge challenge in BIC Village. That was spectacularly done. I don't know if you can see it. I've got the badge up. I was running some more tests and checks on it because there's a whole bunch of capture the flag challenges inside the badge, and so everybody gets a badge for this challenge, and they're meshed together. They're all networked. So when somebody comes online, if you're into it via console, you can see a message. This badge just joined the network. And some of the challenges you had to figure out how to connect with it, get into the command line in the console, and it was kind of funny. The console that they were using was the old AT Hayes command line, so old modem
Oh, wow.
connection stuff. And I was like, oh, this is cool that they're simulating this. And going through the challenge, trying to extract some stuff from the badge, and one of the other guys on the team, I was having a hard time getting some of the data out. One of the other guys on the team sits down and he's like, oh, let me give it a shot. So he's finding some files, and he goes to try and extract them, copies a bunch of text, and instead of pasting it into a notepad so he can analyze it and like read it, he pasted it back into the console and just starts dumping lines because it was a huge file. And we inadvertently did an overflow attack, and the whole system started to freeze. So he control C'd it like you normally do, and instead of dropping us back into the restricted AT shell, it dropped us into a MicroPython at the underlying level of the microcontroller. So now we're like, oh, our standard buffer overflows weren't working, but this sure did. So great example of how hacking sometimes goes, where it's like you just messing around and you make one mistake and you're like, that was it. This is how we're going to get in. And at that level, realized the amount of effort that went into this badge was amazing. I mean, some of the challenges were you had to perform remote code execution on other people's badges by using the meshed network between them while controlling the MicroPython to execute commands.
Wow.
So you're changing colors on other people's badges, you're running local commands on their badges in this network. It was such a blast. I learned so much about how all that stuff works, and that is definitely one of the reasons why I ran out and bought some microprocessors, and I'm looking for building stuff like that and learning how it really works at the ground level now.
So I got this from, and it's been stripped apart from a vendor. It plays a video. It's got all that. I have not had a chance to actually get in because I need to set up a separate laptop because I am not plugging that into my work device. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if what I can get from a free screen.
Nice.
What about you, Dowd? Anything that really stuck out?
The Blacks and Cyber CTF was really good this year. They're still pretty small, and the amount of development over last year's was amazing.
That's awesome.
I enjoy the CTF because the OSINT challenges, there's typical genres of challenges in every CTF. There's typically OSINT, web, pwn challenges, reverse engineering, all that kind of stuff. And the OSINT for Blacks and Cyber was really centered on Black history. So, like finding historical landmarks.
Okay.
And, certain people who, have done some pretty amazing things for the community. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But like Findlay said, the badge was great. And then, just every other aspect that we ran into was really good. And they were very supportive and very available when things weren't working.
That's nice.
And that kind of thing. So
when you break their system.
Yeah, or I mean, it's Murphy's Law. As soon as you do something outside of a recorded demo, it's gonna break. And you then put 30 people trying to attack the same resource, and it's like, well, yeah. The Red Team Village CTF was really challenging this year. I am not huge into reversing or pwn challenges. I try, but then I look up the write-ups afterwards, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, definitely something that would definitely need a lot more studying to get done. But the web challenges were fun there because they kind of said, hey, there's an outdated piece of software here. And there weren't really public exploits available for them, so to speak. There weren't like CVEs, or like if you just Googled the piece of software, it wasn't horribly apparent that there was the associated vulnerability. So, going that extra mile to find some weird write-up and usually a risky link click or two.
I mean, there's a reason you swap out hard drives when you go to.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Completely fresh installs of everything. Turn off all your wireless technology and go have fun.
Nice.
I didn't see any talks, but they release them a little bit after the con. But there were a couple I was interested in looking at. One was the Purple Team talk. As people have been doing them for years in the industry, but it's something that's newer to us. And
I would say you and Pinky have been doing a lot of work around purple teaming, right?
Yep. And so, it's good to get other perspectives, especially, one that earned a spot for a talk at DEF CON.
So Pinky, you were remote, so obviously, your experience is a little different, but we did have somebody that on the team that did give us talk at DEF CON.
Yeah, we did. So Ben Hall from the blue team, I did check with him to make sure he was cool talking about this because he kind of did this.
I was going to give names or details because I didn't.
No, it's okay. He kind of did this on his own, right? So he went out to DEF CON kind of outside of FRSecure to do this, right? Just to roll with it that way. And he was a goon this year as well, and apparently got some awards on that side of things and did a really good job. But he gave a talk on basically threat hunting in M365 is kind of how that talk went. And I heard it went really well. I know we had a few people that were able to get in. Apparently they shut down entrance at one point in time because the room was too full. And I think Eric and somebody else, maybe, I don't know if you guys were in there with Eric, but they got turned away. So we did have a couple folks get in there. Heard it went really well. I did get to see the talk before he did it, so he tried it out on me ahead of time, and it was really good. It was a really good talk, and I've heard he's gotten a lot of good feedback on it and that kind of thing. So pretty pumped for him about that. I think it was great. I heard I know Eric was talking about they kind of caught him in his goon element and said he was loving it and seemed like he was having a really good time. I heard he got a giant group hug too. I'm not sure who all was involved in that one, but he was telling me a story that they kind of came over the headsets. It was like, hey, something's going on down there. It's like, is he okay? And it's like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. These are just my coworkers. They're just hugging me. So
that's funny.
But yeah, that was cool to hear. Always cool to hear, and cool to have somebody speaking at DEF CON. That's a lot of fun. So
very cool. Now, not necessarily related to DEF CON, but about talks. We've got our Hacks and Hawks coming up in October, and I know Findlay, you're talking. Dowd, are you on the panel? On one of the panels? Are you speaking?
I am not.
Are you going to be there?
Potentially.
Put you on the spot.
I have a few travel plans in the near future, and moving in less than a month. So
yeah, that could maybe take a little priority over.
Yeah, if I can make it, I'd love to make it, but yeah, I gotta. The travel plans are tentative at this point, so it's like I'm gonna leave, but I don't know when. So
gotcha.
It's one of those types of deals.
So what are you talking about? Do you know yet? Or did you just get voluntold you're going to be speaking?
They asked if I would talk, and I said, sure, I'll talk. And the next thing I heard is I will be talking about war stories. So I got voluntold you're going to tell your war stories. So I'll be putting together some slide decks on that. Probably it's not going to be on the technical track, I found out, so it's going to be high level stuff. So I'll probably focus on the fun stories, social engineering, talking your way past guards, breaking into buildings, things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll be fun. And then I'll also be at the. We've got a little booth where we teach people how to pick locks.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to come by at Hacks and Hops and learn how to pick a lock, I'll be there with and Ben Hall is also going to be there with me. We're going to be running that booth, teaching people how to pick locks, and we got a little CTF we're creating for the event too.
Oh.
That Ben's been putting a ton of work into. So that should be fun.
Yeah, I know that's his like pet thing that he does. He loves doing lock picking.
Yep.
I got a little preview of the CTF yesterday, Findlay. I mean, I didn't see any of the flags or anything like that, but actually, I did see one flag that was pretty funny, and it was one that the two of you guys put together. But it's looking nice. Like, I mean, you look some good challenges and things in there. You guys are doing a good job on that.
Yeah, it's tough because Ben and I were talking, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you do a bunch of crypto challenges so get people to break some cryptography?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I sent him a bunch. He's like, "Man, a couple of these are too hard. Let's dumb this down. People are not going to spend the entire Hacks and Hops trying to crack a cipher." No. So I was like, "Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right."
Speaking of that, did you see that the artist that did Cryptos for the CIA is auctioning off the last piece of it?
I didn't.
No.
Yeah, he's like 80 something, and he said it's too much at this point. So he's auctioning off the last piece.
Oh man, I'll have to look that up. That sounds cool.
So awesome. Well, this was fun. I hope everybody listening had as good a time as we did. Typically wrapping up, we'll give shout outs. So I guess I'll start with, let's go with Pinky first. Your top left in my screen.
Yeah, I'm not doing this just to pad your ego, but I was going to shout out Brad actually because Brad's been helping us a ton with some stuff on the blue team side, helping us fix some assessment magic and some things like that. So I'm going to give Brad a big shout out because he's keeping me from having to do a bunch of work right now, and I appreciate that about him. So.
So what I'm hearing is I've been taken. You're like, I don't want to do it.
No, I didn't say that. No, you put words in my mouth now.
I'll be honest. I don't mind. I love doing that stuff and geeking out on those things. So
no,
appreciate that. Yeah. What about you, Dowd?
I'm gonna shout out my parents for kind of keeping me in the tech realm and putting up with all of my isolation during high school in my room, thinking around and just generally letting me be weird. And I'll also just shout out our team in general. It was a really great year at DEF CON. There was a lot of collaboration. There was a lot of team building and all that good stuff. And yeah, it was just a really great year, and happy to work with so many great people.
Yes. What about you, Findlay?
Yeah, I'd say keeping it very focused to the DEF CON talk. Definitely shout out a few of our members on our team that sat at BIC Village with me the entire time. So Sam, Annalise, and Morgan, we were all working like crazy on that CTF, and also the BIC organizers. They put on a great challenge. It was really great networking, and specifically one of the volunteers at BIC, a hacker there, goes by the name Shift. He designed the badge, and he was
very cool,
super helpful, awesome dude. Great place.
Nice. I'm gonna give a shout out. Pinky, you'll know this name. One of the former bosses actually touched base with him yesterday. Kevin. Put me on the path of formally get into security, and supported me doing the CISSP back in 2011. So shout out to Kevin.
Yeah. Hey Kevin, if you're listening.
All right. Well, this was fun. I'm sure we could go for really geek out, but I think that's more Hackle Box is where you guys really technically geek out. So we'll keep it high level here, but thank you to everyone who's listening, and thank you to the Mats and to Pinky for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks very much.